'Twas the week before summer, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. We're on the verge of summer, my friends, before Memorial Day weekend, and I'm feeling restless, so I wanted to do a conspiracy show. And of course, it's been far too long. Today is May 27th, 2021, Thursday, and joining me is my good friend, Drew Taylor, aka Supreme Heretic. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, it's funny, Wes. You actually got the intro to work. It was like sitting there, and funny story because I was just doing comics as usual Thursday stream on my channel. I did the Thursday night throwdown before I came on yours, and we were sitting there with backstage, me, Culture, and Steven, and Authenticator, and I hit the intro and I forgot to hit live.
Whoops.
we went through the intro.
Whoops.
Then I finally hit live, and I just said, yeah, we had a great intro for you, but I boomered it. so at least you got the intro to work, man. So, you're far more ahead of me. But, truth be told, my mind's been a million places, dude. It's been a taxing week, and it's just nice to have a respite. It's nice to be around friends and just kind of take a moment and relax and talk about things.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about warm and fuzzy topics, of course.
Every time I see that UFO in that intro, I want to go off on a tangent talking about what I think this coming disclosure is, but we'll save that for a whole nother conspiracy. Boy, I got one for that.
Is it like a Project Bluebeam-esque, submit to the one world government so we can become a greater part of the community of...
Well, actually, I'm starting to believe more and more before we get on to our main topic that, at some point that there was contact with somebody from humanity and some civilization. There was technology exchanged. And the biggest question we need to find out is now, who exactly is in control of the technology? Do a lot of governments around the world have a portion of this? Does just ours have a portion of this? Because if so, the secret is well kept. I do now think that a lot of the black budget projects have to do with this stuff, either the reverse engineering of this technology or whatever it is. But I wonder how many governments around the world have access to it. The extent of the agreement.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I mean, that is something to wonder. But, the concept of the nation state as, the power source also kind of needs to be turned on its head, because you have NGOs and you have, your Rockefellers and Rothschilds and, your George Soroses and,
yeah,
are kind of like the virus in the body state controlling things.
Well, yeah, you do. But I wonder, like I said, that there's been rumors of technology sharing going back, decades. So, you have to wonder. An interesting thing that I heard that, I know Marilyn Monroe had told a reporter, it was actually, I think the day before she passed away, that, there was some interesting things afoot with UFOs. So, she knew, and JFK knew some stuff.
Isn't there a memo where JFK and Nixon were both apparently as congressmen briefed on that topic?
I want to say yeah, at some point, because there was something I was watching on UFOs where they mentioned something like that. So I want to say, yeah, that was a thing. But I'm not sure because I haven't looked into that one. That's interesting. But I mean, if you just look at it from a common sense perspective, you really can't dismiss that. The whole sharing of technology and agreement at some point in time. It makes a lot of sense now.
Well, I mean, it would explain the exponential advances in technology versus the previous, like, 2,000 years, 3,000 years,
Mm-hmm.
where technology is basically, you got beasts of burden, and you have wagons.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Industrial Revolution, which is fairly recent.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, and there's certain things because remember when like and this is getting into another side topic, but remember why Tesla's technology didn't go mainstream, and it was because I think it was ahead of anything like energy source wise that anybody had seen.
Yeah, I think JP Morgan said free energy. Well, unless you can, how am I supposed to, meter and charge for energy that's being broadcast, in the atmosphere for free?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't figure out a way to monetize it. Apparently,
Yeah.
they don't have the they didn't have the satellite TV model back then.
Hail Scott Jennings again. Fancy meeting you here, my friend.
Hail Scott Jennings. Hail Parrothead.
Yeah,
Hail Mikhail Wolf. Welcome, my
yep.
friends.
But yeah, it's funny, Wes. I know I didn't mean to like start off on a tangent, but boy, it was just it's a fascinating discussion to have. At some point when we can expand on it more, we'll chit chat about that. But we should get into
we could continue down the alien path if you want, because I mean, there's a lot to cover there. You have Bob Lazar, you have Philip Corso. I don't know of those two. I mean, the stories almost kind of corroborate in a weird way. I think Lazar came first and Corso came second, if I'm mistaken. Corso was a very old man, and he had some things he wanted to tell.
Well, listening to the stuff that Dr. Stephen Greer talks about, stuff like that. I can't get away from that, and I can't remember the name of the document for the life of me. But there's a document that alleges that there was an exchange of technology, and I can't remember what president was present for that.
I think you're talking about Eisenhower. Eisenhower met with the Queen Royal, Her Highness, whatever it was. Apparently, it was a royal title. I know that, and as a republic, I think seems to be implied that we were that we were concerned about the fact they had royalty.
Yeah, it's just I don't think that I don't think that this is natural, especially when you have all this stuff in the government now is all of a sudden being a lot more willing with the footage of incidents. And, it's a national security issue at this point, Wes, because, you have unidentified aircraft or sea craft or a combination of both that are buzzing military assets. And don't forget that one famous sighting where there was a red glowing object that actually manipulated and rendered useless nuclear missiles.
Mm-hmm.
There is that. That's a very famous sighting. Yeah, dude. It just when you put all this together, you have to wonder. Because
hail radicalized Ryan, welcome, my friend.
Yeah, hail radicalized Ryan. I just don't think it's just natural phenomena that hello, people are just doing it's people from another galaxy doing reconnaissance, whatever, what have you, observation. I think that there's something more in play. I think there's some exchange of technology, and then if you want to put a modern spin on it, there seemed to be a very expedient fashion that Space Force was given the go-ahead and put into action.
Do you think that Donald Trump, when he did his meeting with Obama, and we played it on this show before, where he talks about the high-flying assets, do you think that was what he meant? Do you think that was the impetus behind Space Force? The high-flying assets? That the high-flying assets are craft that are maybe anti-gravity craft?
It could have been. I mean, you think about it, because it's funny. The Biden administration certainly hasn't curtailed Space Force.
Don't say those two words, please.
But the truth is that.
I refuse to accept it.
But the truth is, they haven't. They have not curtailed Space Force. There has to be a reason for that. There was a reason why it was expediently put into action. And we have to ask the questions, hey, why was this put expediently into action? President Trump had to have known something.
Well, clearly he did. I mean, President Trump is a lot smarter than, definitely than most people give him credit for. I mean, those of us paying attention, we could see.
And the media said, oh yeah, he doesn't pay attention in briefings and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. Yeah. He seemed to think that Space Force was a priority and it was needed.
Soul Assassin says the UFOs could be a super black ops project that most of our government doesn't know about. I agree. They could be.
It very well could be, Soul. But the thing is again, I kind of agree with you because I paid attention to certain documentaries I've watched. What some of the stuff that Dr. Stephen Greer talked about was just that. And all the money that goes to, so much money that goes to black budget projects every year. And think about it.
Hail Mark D with a C. Welcome, my friend.
Hail Mark D with a C. And Soul Assassin makes another good point. Controlled space controls future wars. Yeah, it's true. It does.
Yeah, but the satellites control our GPS network, right?
Mm-hmm.
You knock a few of those out, and if you have lazy, if you have a lot of the telemetry of your bombs and your missiles tied to that, and maybe there's ways to track things with those GPS satellites. You lose that if you knock them out. Yeah, it'd be pretty serious.
There's something going on, and I don't just think it's again just random.
Hail Angela Straven.
I don't think it's random visitors just observing, dude. There's something in play. Especially when you watch the footage from the Nimitz encounters, and then you watch footage from that same task group, the other ship that observed the USO, the one that came in and just descended under the water.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely no explanation for that.
Yeah, it's all very strange. I don't know if you want. Well, I mean, we're on this topic, so I might as well weigh in on what I think.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
I'll disagree with Lord Doomcock and Gary on this one. I think the Tic Tac is one of ours. I think we're testing it against our own military because we would have access to both data sources, so we'd be able to see how they responded to that threat, and we'd also be able to test our own weapons out. And there's absolutely no benefit for us to release information that we have something that we can't track, or that we don't have the capabilities of defending against, unless we already know what it is. Because, I mean, why would we tell our enemies that? We wouldn't.
Well, there's definitely something. And again, due to the fact that even the opposition administration won't cancel Space Force or undo Space Force, that ought to say something. That speaks volumes to me as well, because obviously it's needed. And obviously they think that threat assessment outside of terrestrial Earth is needed. So that tells me something is afoot somewhere.
Yeah, it's to the point where we can't pretend that we don't have those assets, out of the atmosphere. It's to the point where, we can't hide it any longer. We have to acknowledge that we have those types of those capabilities.
Now, I've heard 2 dates kind of bandied about among the disclosure thing, and that is that it's going to happen on the 1st, and then somebody else said it was going to happen on the 25th, so who knows? But, true, Soul Assassin, very true. That Nimitz video is pretty chilling, actually. I just... I think something's afoot, Wes. My instincts tell me, as sure as I'm sitting here, that there's something more that meets the eye, and I think it has to do with some sort of technological agreement.
You get a little bit here, you get a little bit there. We point you in the right direction when the time comes, that kind of thing. If you do what we want you to do.
Yeah, it's almost like, if you remember that one episode of Voyager where I believe it was Ed Begley Jr. was the guest star in there, and he played...
was this Future's End?
Yeah, it was the one where Voyager was there in like 90s, whatever.
Yeah, or the one with Sarah Silverman. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was the whole thing where they got a hold of Starfleet technology.
Yeah.
But the point being, it controlled just what you said, the flow of technology for the next decades. And that is what I'm wondering here. If there isn't some sort of technological agreement with another society, another galactic society out there, because again, I've always been of the mindset it's foolish to think that we're 100% alone, that space is not to a degree inhabited.
So it would be the equivalent of like when we go into a third world country and we say, well, we like what you're doing, so here are some weapons and some AK-47s or M16s. Maybe we give them AK-47s. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But and here's some here's a Stinger missile. But the people that we don't like, we're not going to give them any technology. We're just going to only support the people we want. And, of course, they're going to get a hold of it and try to reverse engineer some of it. And, maybe they'll be pointed in the right direction if they continue to do the things we want them to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're just like that. We're just like, we are to the aliens like somebody crossing, San Isidro Bridge into Tijuana. And just like, whoa, it's very earthy here. Wow. It's very different and there's not a lot happening. That kind of shock is what the aliens are. They're like, these are very backwards people.
Yeah, Ken Jackman. Yeah, and that's what I'm alluding to too. There is stuff that our military has that obviously the public doesn't know about, nor will they probably know about. It's just that's all. It's always been that way.
Hail Ken Jack Ben, hail Apollo Patriot, hail just another red shirt. Wanted to make sure I got everybody.
Yeah. Oh man, it's mind-boggling when you think about it, Wes, because it's just like, wow, to think that may have happened, first contact may have happened, and it's been the biggest secret of humanity.
Well, here's the thing, and I wish I could find it. If somebody in the chat can find it, okay. So disclosure, we're talking about disclosure, right? So disclosure is supposed to happen in a number of ways. One of which is supposed to be that they're supposed to prepare us for disclosure by having similar stories released to the public via popular media, aka your Close Encounters of the Third Kind and your 2001: A Space Odysseys, that kind of stuff, right? So that's supposed to be what they call it. There was a memo, not the Iron Mountain memo. There's another memo on disclosure, and Kennedy had it. And that's what they said. They said, hey, disclosure, that's how it needs to take place. And so you have a lot of this stuff happening in popular media, those types of films, Close Encounters. I mean, you alluded to the meeting, and Close Encounters is supposed to be a fictionalized account of that meeting, Eisenhower and, Devil's Tower, that meeting.
So did they use a keyboard?
Well, dramatic license. Well, did they use mashed potatoes? That's what I want to know. Mashed potatoes. Holy shit. Yeah. Was that really Richard Dreyfuss? Come on now. Come on, man.
It's Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, it is. Was that Terry Garr that was the wife?
Yeah, I think so. She was rather attractive.
Yeah, she did. She was.
But yeah.
Yeah, so let's see, where was I going with the disclosure? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Scott Jennings says maybe the Stargate is real. I've heard that we had some sort of a program that was akin to that too. I heard it was very, that's supposed to be, and I'm not sure if it's archaeological or what, but Ezekiel's wheel, that's supposed to be kind of the idea. Wait, was it Ezekiel's wheel? Was that what it was based on?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because you're supposed to. Anyway, yeah, lost knowledge. But yeah, disclosure. So it was supposed to take place in popular media. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, I got stream brain. I started.
No, it's all good. But yeah, the thing is, disclosure was supposed to be disseminated through the movies and through television, which we got. Obviously, we've seen it in episodes of Voyager, seen it in Stargate, seen it in some other things. And I just... I don't know. There's something there, and I don't buy that this is entirely man-made 100%. I really don't. There had to be, some involvement that is past human capabilities. That just, that's what that feels like to me, man. I mean, and I have pretty good instincts for chasing around the truth west, and it's just, that's how it feels to me.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I guess where I was going with that, yeah, I think that I think those are ours. I don't think there's any reason not to say they're ours. And plus, if we are going around and testing other militaries like that, wouldn't it be in our favor to say, hey, it's not us that's buzzing you with these unidentified flying objects or these unidentified aerial phenomena. This is it's happening to us too, guys. It's not us, we swear.
Well, think about that one. What's that one that's commonly reported? The big triangle.
Oh, the Arizona Lights.
There's one that a lot of people always report. It's a huge.
The Phoenix Lights. That's what it is. The triangle. Phoenix Lights. Here, let me see if I can find it. The Phoenix Lights, I think, is what you're talking about. Oh yes, CJ. We're live on both the main channel, West Moody Webcast, and on the secondary channel, Conspiracy or Conspiracy. I think you're probably in Conspiracy or Conspiracy, which is why you don't see the rest of the chat. Yeah, then the mayor of Phoenix came out.
Mm-hmm.
Pretended, dressed up like an alien or some shit. Jacked directly into the router. I feel like they're finding other ways to suppress us, not just with our channels and content.
Well,
I feel like when I start to talk about sensitive topics, my internet all of a sudden decides to get really slow.
Funny that happened, like right when we were getting into this, but the thing is like I said, that is one that that tends to come up quite a bit. Is a lot of people talk about the giant the giant triangle, the giant flying triangular shaped object.
Yeah, Phoenix Lights.
So that's one that's commonly seen over and over.
Tim Sears says, this stuff has been documented since Columbus sailed to America. There wasn't any electricity back then. Yep. Indeed.
Well, it's been documented, Tim, since biblical times. It's in the Bible.
Yeah, Ezekiel's wheel. And then there's also you can see it in famous photographs. I don't know if it's I don't think it's the Mona Lisa, but there's a Renaissance photograph that shows a flying saucer.
There's well, I know that Final and Flip before have talked about the Nephilim, and I know some people think of the religious tie-in to it, but I just look at it from more of a scientific and factual standpoint. And I would say there's got to be something in there. Like, again, it goes back to there has to be an agreement.
Absolutely. Yeah, Wookie. Now that you're here, you can have playthings. I just wanted to make sure that you were here, that somebody could attend to them. Yes, they're all yours now. So everybody, Wookie is going to be handling any trolls that we have in the chat now. I'm knighting Wookie as the troll slayer. Darth Haster, hail Darth Haster, says the internet companies themselves are policing and slowing down net speeds. You are saying? I'm saying, well,
yeah.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Yes.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I'm saying that there's some content that if YouTube is going out on a limb and suppressing what they described as less than 0.05% of content that is conspiracy related, or what did they call it? Brushes the line or blurs the line, close to the line content. If they're going to invest the kind of resources and algorithmic changes to their entire platform to police that kind of content that's, again, admitted 0.05% or less, then yes, I do think that the ISPs would be doing the same thing.
Soul Assassin brings up an interesting point here, Wes. He said, Drew, didn't Eisenhower make a deal with the Greys? They can abduct humans, give us tech in return. I have heard that theory, Soul, because I believe they talked about that on Coast to Coast.
Yeah, supposedly there was a deal. They had to let us know who they were taking, and it had to be documented. And they went back on the deal. And so supposedly that's caused kind of a Cold War with them, I thought was what happened.
Yeah, something along those lines. And it's funny because, you mentioned the stuff with the internet, dude, but Wes, Man, you should see some of the shit that's happened to Secure Team 10's channel. And he reports on UFO stuff, like, exclusively.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. How many times have we had? I mean, we're talking about coast to coast. How many times have you had a phone connection go bad right when it starts getting good on coast to coast? How often has that happened? So,
oh yeah.
I mean, and Shia LaBeouf, whatever you think of him as an actor, he said that for, I forget which role it was, but God, what role was that? But they had an FBI consultant on, and the FBI guy was telling him all these wild stories about, their capabilities of recording every phone call in the United States. And Shia LaBeouf didn't believe him. And so the FBI guy, apparently to show off, brought in actual audio of Shia getting, some dirty talk with some, some chicks that he was, and like that was the point being made. Like, hey man, we got this. Things are getting hot and steamy. Yeah, they probably have they probably know more about us than we know about ourselves. But yeah, I think they are using that capability to, of course, censor also.
I just have to wonder. Again, I'm just fascinated by the first contact aspect, because that's one of the major events in human history. If that happened.
Oh, that's where I was going with that. Okay, releasing in popular media. Okay, releasing in popular media. Okay, so there was an advertisement, and it's very hard to find, but there's an advertisement that shows an alien, and it just shows the alien. It's like a Coca-Cola advertisement or something in a magazine. It was a magazine pullout, and supposedly that was the alien that met with Eisenhower. And in the 1980s, they released it into popular media. The actual photograph of an actual alien, the one that met with Eisenhower, and that was their way of soft disclosing, was that you actually saw a picture of an alien, but they didn't say that's what it was. It just got released as an advertisement.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that nuggets have been dropped in the guise of entertainment. But man, if first contact really happened, dude, can you just imagine? That is the most significant event in human history.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Vigilante Williamson. Vigilante Williamson said, I think it's in Behold the Pale Horse as well. Bill Cooper's book, or there's another one as well, Behold the Pale Horse. Wookie says that dude was a perfect type of pinhead to destroy. Well, he's all yours if he comes back. Good night, Parrothead. Thank you for coming, my friend.
Night, Parrothead.
Yeah, CJ says, how can they make a deal if they don't speak English? Wouldn't we just shoot them first and ask questions after? I think telepathy, right?
Yeah, I believe from the accounts that I've heard, CJ, they communicated telepathically.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That you don't just get the, it's not just words, it's emotion that comes along with it, which is kind of weird, but makes sense, I guess, if you're doing it telepathically. Wookie says, can I time someone out for them? Just ask. You can time out whoever you want to, Wookie. You have the power of the wrench, my friend. Wield it judiciously.
But yeah, it's just, it's so interesting to me, Wes, because I think the more this ramps up, and believe me, I observe all this stuff, with what trends and how it ramps up and things like that. It's trending towards something coming out. So we're going to know something one way or the other.
But how do we know it's not going to be a Project Bluebeam like scenario?
Right, exactly. And you can't discount the fact that it might just be, all misinformation.
Yep.
Because
well, that's one of the geniuses about putting out multiple opposing stories,
Because remember, this is at the behest of a Trump administration order. So they still have to comply by the date. And so this disclosure is coming out. Yeah, I understand your point, Wookie. So
Vigilante Williamson says, I had a friend who I talked to about conspiracy stuff with, and there is no doubt in either of our minds our calls were messed with and monitored. Yeah, wouldn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm. There's been many a time, Vigilante, listen, that I felt like I've been eavesdropped on. And I've had sensitive conversations with everybody from West to other friends local to, you name it. And I feel like I've been eavesdropped. So I'm right there with you.
Yep. So I'm looking for the ad now. It's really difficult to find it. It was on one of those obscure websites that probably doesn't exist anymore. But it was a magazine advertisement. It wasn't. It wasn't a commercial. It was a magazine advertisement. One of those pop-out ads. One of those 2-pagers, that you fold out, kind of. I think that's what it was. Could be wrong. So let's see. Alien. Hold on. Alien magazine ad. See if I can find it.
What do you have?
Here it is. I found it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think this is it. Hold on. Is that it? Really? It's an Amico ad? Okay. All right. Here we go. See, I don't... Is it Amico? I don't know. Okay. Well, shit. This is the best I could find. I thought for sure that there were better versions of this out there, but I'll go ahead and share what I have. Like, this picture I thought was in full color.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me share it here. Share...
being where I was, guys, the day after January 5th, it's pretty funny. I kind of always feel like I'm going to be like eavesdropped.
Yeah, dude, you're lucky you took off. You could have been arrested. So this is supposedly an Amico ad. And
Meow, Moira.
This is supposed to be, well, I don't think this is the same ad. Maybe it is. I don't know. For some reason, I don't think this is the same one, but supposedly, maybe it is. That's supposed to be an actual extraterrestrial. Yeah, here's a better resolution of it. Hold on. Yeah, this is a better resolution, and it's been brightened a bit. So you can see what's going on here. Let me share it. So this is supposedly the ad, I believe. I don't know. It's been many years. So that is supposed to be an actual extraterrestrial.
Wow.
Yes, and so it appearing in that ad is supposed to be part of the disclosure in the memo that that the government was talking about.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's no coincidence the Asgard in Stargate were they looked like grays.
Is it me, or does it look like he's behind a partition like Mr. Spock, right before he died doing the, like it's behind glass, like the cage from Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Or he's behind one of those COVID screens.
No. Oh, darn, you said it. No.
Oops.
Yeah. Yeah. Wookie says, to tell the truth, I need new conspiracy theories. All of mine have come true.
Yeah.
Just another red shirt says, with great power comes great responsibility. Indeed. Darth Haster says, timeout just on a stream with a 4-minute timer in slow mode.
I just feel like the game's afoot, dude. There's something that we're not that I think that we suspect that isn't being told to us because we suspect it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And again, just I come back to yeah, I think an agreement happened.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to think that there was. I mean, if you look at the leap in technology, you know, you're using vacuum tubes, suddenly you're using transistors. It's all quite a quantum leap in technology there.
Yeah, it just I don't know, you know. Well, so Assassin, I will tell you this: no matter if disclosure happens, now remember it's going to be if the government's doing it, and I'm going according to Wookie's point. All right.
Which one? I'm trying to highlight which one you're talking about.
Well, he said if the government's bringing it forward, then they're essentially going to lie anyway.
Oh, okay. The blue beam one where he's talking about. Hold on.
And
good night, Ken Jack Ben.
Good night, Ken Jack Ben.
Hail Darius Munchausen. Welcome, my friend. Oh, wait, this one? This one?
That one, but there was one before that he mentioned the government.
Hey, Moira.
If the government says it, then you know, because he's like, come on, guys, the government's saying this. But yeah, here's the thing: the government puts it out there. Obviously, the powers that be, you know what they did with things like the coup and everything else we've gone through. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're going to attempt to manipulate this. Well, we already know they're going to manipulate this. This is the next logical step. Think about it. Things are stepping back down from the coup. We're kind of going back to, pre semi-normal life to a degree. So they need something else. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. He says, consolidating the masses in metro areas and wiping out rural settlements to more easily control the majority of people. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. There's your end game. Yep. Yeah, I mean that looks like a real alien that's been cropped, and they put a filter on. Could be. I mean, that definitely looks like a gray.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not from their planet, so I wouldn't. Just like, if I were a duck landed next to a decoy, you know, I'd have to land next to the decoy to say, hey, there's something wrong with that duck. I'm too far away to be able to tell on that.
Well, it's just funny how those seem to pop up in most popular media about UFOs. Mm-hmm. It's always a gray, so. Indeed. Now, in a way, in Stargate, I think you're almost getting with the Goa'uld a representation of reptilians versus grays. Again, think about going back to the 80s to V what was the first thing we saw there? Reptilians. So it's hard to say, but in the ultimate sense, as I said, when we get into thinking in the realm of facts, the way that everything shakes out, adds up, just common sense, it just tells me that somewhere along the line, there was a technology sharing agreement with someone. Whether that be a galactic citizen of some sort or whatever, it was something outside the realm of Earth. Or maybe even a dimensional.
Well, and that's what's so interesting about the Philip Corso story. I mean, both Philip Corso and Bob Lazar. I mean, we don't know about that. I mean, so you have the Eisenhower portion of it, which, I mean, that seems to be the genesis of it. And then you have the Philip Corso part of it where it's, hey, we gave this stuff off to, the private corporations, and the corporations, we said, hey, don't ask where you got it. This is, we're giving you this, do with it what you will. And, feel free to profit off of this technology. And then you have Bob Lazar saying, hey, we had this stuff and we were trying to reverse engineer it. And some of it's so far out there that we haven't even achieved, I mean, it's like a caveman being confronted with, a telephone or a smartphone or a computer. It's so far beyond us that we need to get to a certain point before we can even comprehend what we're looking at.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, you definitely have those stories. So, I mean, it seems like it supports the idea that there's some sort of technology sharing going on one way or another. I mean, you got to think if they have the technology to get there, you'd think that they'd have the technology to retrieve or destroy what's been left behind. I mean, you'd assume.
Well, the thing that I'm worried about, and this is valid, is the fact that the party that we did make an agreement with, because if we did make an agreement, I'm worried about the harvesting of people, and also, what happens if the party that made the agreement are the globalists with these people?
Yeah. Wookie says, create a crisis, then save the public from it. Problem, action, solution. Yeah, is what you're mentioning there. Soul Assassin says, they could be giving us tech that is crap to them, but advanced to us. That is definitely possible. I mean, we seem to be doing that to other nations. Like,
Right.
we're giving the Saudis, and the Pakistanis stuff that's like 2 or 3 generations behind. I think it was either the Saudis or the Pakistanis that were really upset with us because there was some sort of radar system that we didn't include. Either it was to detect other objects or it was to evade radar. One of those two, but the radar systems weren't as sophisticated and they got mad about it. Mm-hmm. We're like, we're like Beavis and Butthead. We're like, hey, it was free ass bunch. Well, actually, it wasn't. No, they did pay for it, but I guess they didn't. It's like buying a car. They didn't opt for the radar package. Yeah. CJ says, I think aliens are just stuck here on Earth because their planet is probably long gone. Well, that would suck. They can't even call AAA to get home. That's ridiculous.
No, but that's another plausible thing. But again, sightings are shooting up exponentially. I mean, that's just a fact. Sightings have gone up over the past probably 6 months, big time. And Wookie, there's no advanced society that survived progressiveness. Yeah, I feel like that,
Pretty
but
much.
you know, it just something's not right. Something is not right, and I feel like I'm on the most plausible track when I think about it in my head that, uh, as Wes was expanding on so eloquently, the technological advancement, the way it's happened, it just I can't get off that point that I think there's an agreement there, and that's what spawned a lot of this. Because guys, listen, if you go back in just the past 5 years, sightings are exploding, and they're people are coming out seeing things left and right now, and with footage.
I'm gonna have to watch They Live again. I think the They Live scenario seems pretty plausible now.
It really does when you think about it.
All right, let's take a look at this Phoenix Lights video here. See what's going on with it.
Mysteries of our time, at least here in Arizona. Today marking 21 years since the Phoenix Lights first appeared in the sky. To this day, nobody really knows what they were or where they came from.
It's been that long, huh? This weekend, you can relive the phenomenon with a documentary airing right here in the Valley. Lena is over at the Harkins Shea 14 at Scottsdale Road. And Shay, with your preview of a mystery people are still curious about.
The truth is out there, you guys. Do you guys remember this? Do you remember the flood of phone calls coming into the newsroom? What is that? There's something in the sky. And everyone's saying, maybe it's Luke Air Force Base. Maybe it's Sky Harbor. Maybe it's something else. So this is where we can get at least some of the answers this weekend. So here at Harkins Shea, I'm here with Dr. Kitai. And tell me about what people can expect when they come here. I imagine a lot of people are saying, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Actually, I stayed anonymous for 7 years as a medical doctor before I came forward, and we're so excited because now we have the data. This is 21 years of studying the data, and it still cannot be explained or denied. And we're so thrilled that Harkins Shea will be hosting an event on Sunday. It's the only mainstream event of its kind where we show the documentary, our internationally award-winning documentary, on the big silver screen. We have speakers, including Navajo Rangers, who are law enforcement studying these things, as well as a Zuni elder who talks about the Native American connection. That's really profound and amazing. Travis Walton, if you remember the movie.
Well, yeah, Fire in the Sky. That's another one here in Arizona as well.
Absolutely. And Councilwoman Frances Barwood, who was the only elected official who came forward to ask for a reenactment, which happened 3 years after the mass sighting. 3 Air National Guards tried to reenact the Phoenix Lights and failed. And also we have this one wonderful doctor who also, an MD, who also stayed anonymous for 21 years.
Yeah, the first time that we're going to hear from him about his experience.
Absolutely. He was with his family coming up from Tucson to Phoenix, and it was right over their car for some time. And the amazing thing, too, is that the DOD just came forward in December, a New York Times article divulged that Harry Reid actually requested a study. They are studying it now at the Pentagon, and it was funded $22 million. And just like myself, I mean, they don't know what these things were, but they know that they are, and they're far advanced from what we have.
So I know you've done a lot of talking about this, and you've met a lot of people who saw it. And what is the consensus among people who actually looked and saw it? What do most people say?
Actually, there has not been one report, and this is important, of harm, threat, or abduction associated with the Phoenix Lights phenomenon. They were absolutely anomalous. Even our past former governor, Symington, who mocked the sighting in '97, came forward after the 10th anniversary to reveal bravely that he actually saw one of these mile-wide craft and larger, and that it was otherworldly. And he's a pilot, an award-winning Air Force officer. And many, many people saw this. It was massive, and the technology was far advanced.
It was huge. If you were here, you remember it. And you remember the next day, everyone was talking about that. Did you see that? Did you see that last night? Well, if you didn't see it or you want to see it again, then this weekend is the place for you at Harkin Shea. Sunday, 1 to 5 is when this event and the documentary is happening. And of course, that Q&A. And it'll only cost you $8. And then, of course, there are discounts for senior citizens and the kiddos. So family-friendly event. You get to ask questions of people who were there and kind of see if you're right, whatever you're thinking it was. Guys,
Wow, only $8.
It is. You were working here at the time.
I was.
Was it the hot assignment?
You know,
You don't
gosh, I
remember?
don't really remember. I really don't. I think I was working the morning shift, so I was asleep
Oh, yeah.
when it happened.
We always miss everything.
We always
don't we?
miss the good stuff.
Thanks, Lena.
So yeah, it's not separate things. You know, it seems like the chat is saying it's one thing.
That triangular thing, the V, the big the flying V, and not the guitar, because I actually like the flying V guitars, by the way, guys. But
Yeah, that's cool. All kinds of good music.
because that's one of the most cited UFOs that there is. Period. So it's got to be something. People used to hypothesize it was like the stealth bomber and things like that, but I don't think so.
Not something that big.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks kind of like the spruce goose a little bit, maybe.
Oh man, the Spruce Goose, good time.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, we need Starbucks. It's the Battlestar Pegasus, guys.
F the UFOs. Let me get your number. Oh hell no! The Federation is a bunch of anal retentives. I'm jumping on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the modern Federation. They make you go to sensitivity training.
Yeah.
Yeah, CJ says they confirmed the Galactic Federation before. Remember? Yes, they did. They said there is a Galactic Federation, and you see this is one of those things that ties into the other conspiracy theories. Okay, so part of the population reduction. I'm sure you've heard this theory too, Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why the elites are pushing for number one world government, and number two, population reduction, is because to become a part of this galactic federation that is out there, meaning that we don't get the the old technology. We don't get the Model T stuff. We get the 1980s stuff instead. We'll say. Yeah. Part of that is that according to them, a lot of this is the conspiracy theory. There were a lot of wars. A lot of the wars were caused by the scarcity of land, resources, etc. And but through
Right when he's explaining it, see, goes out, folks. Maybe Wes is onto something.
So this Galactic Federation was formed by capping their populations at 500 million. So the rules for being a part of the Galactic Republic are population less than 500 million, and there has to be one world government. One. So that's the conspiracy theory, the overarching conspiracy, and that's the reason. That's the big one. That's
you have to ask yourself that, because again, we go and look at something like the Georgia Guidestones. Why are they there? We look at that weird sort of obelisk that they found a few months back. Things like that, dude. It just, yeah. I mean, what's the purpose? So you gotta wonder. Maybe that's not off, but again, the thing that is the most plausible, even though, I know it sounds very, very out there, okay, but the most plausible is that, yeah, at some point, we know back earlier on, decades ago, it's very easy to conceive of the fact that there was an agreement. So we do know that. But it'll be interesting to see what comes from the disclosure when supposedly it does come, and how it's disseminated.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting to see, to make to kind of make my judgment call on it. Again, I understand what Wookie's saying. I kind of don't trust it because it is coming from the government. So we'll see.
Yep. We all know who's controlling the government now. So,
Man, yeah, because I hate, because I've always hesitated. I love the stuff about the unexplained, like UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff like Nessie, but it's hard because when you get into unexplained things that actually cross over into like real world events, well then, it gets into scary territory, and that's just, man, it's hard to open your mind, even when you think about something like we're discussing here, like plausibly talking about an agreement. Just think, if you take a minute to like stand outside of that thought and look at the bigger picture and say, wow, I'm actually talking about an agreement with someone not of Earth. I mean, that's a big deal. And again, as implausible as it sounds, because we've been conditioned over the years to think along a more skeptic basis, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you allow yourself for a moment to not be a skeptic, I believe there was a thing. I remember a line of Voyager when they were talking about the episode. Seven was going back through time loop. She was working with the crew of the not the Equinox, the Federation Timeship Relativity, and she had gone back on Voyager before that. She was a member of the crew, and I remember Janeway and Tuvok caught her when she was in there, but as they were attempting to apprehend her, and she was explaining her situation, that Tuvok made an interesting point, and he said, every situation, no matter how implausible, isn't necessarily illogical, and that's why I think we can have a sort of more rational discussion about the agreement hypothesis, because I don't think it's just a hypothesis. I think what you're seeing and just things of that nature combined in the way that this phenomena is shaken out over the years, that's probably pretty plausible.
Certainly could be.
Because they are right about that. No matter how implausible, it's not necessarily illogical. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
I feel like we're being held hostage, but Sasha Bone here wants to know, if the speaker is not recorded, please say today's date or answer what your passion is. Well, today's date is May 28th, 2021, 12:28 a.m. Pacific time. Happy?
Yeah.
Could just be somebody that's out of country, CJ.
Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to say what my passion is.
Yeah, we probably should. Live streaming is my passion.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, I mean, that's just how I feel about it, Wes. Oh God, I got this show on such a tangent. I know. I'm so sorry because we had something so good.
Yeah, so this has been a great show for sure. We should
still do a little longer. We should still go into the red pill list because I got a pretty good one.
All right, let's go over the red pill list. So we have a red pill playlist. I have one on the Conspiracy Channel, which I'm going to share here in a moment. But feel free to go into your red pill playlist there, Drew. Let's hear about it.
All right, so I would say like must see like movies for the time. All right, number one is definitely They Live. Number two, I would go with Red Dawn. Number three, I would go with The Manchurian Candidate. Probably number four, I would go with 1984. And number five, I'd go with Clockwork Orange. Those are my five. Those are probably my five movies. My top show, you only need one for that. Top TV show. Actually, two. Twilight Zone and The X-Files.
Absolutely. Yeah, if we're talking popular media, for sure.
And then probably besides that, oh God, I guess if we were talking just playlists, things I'd listen to outside that, or if we were talking radio, definitely would just go back into the archive of Art Bell and people like that, and listen back to stuff like that, because when you go back and listen to some of the old Coast to Coasts, especially with Art Bell, man, it's pretty eerie, some of the stuff that they called. It's crazy.
Yeah, so, that Alex Jones, they memory hold Jones, didn't they?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a red pill playlist, and of course, if anybody has any suggestions of things I can add to it, it's on YouTube, so God knows how long it'll last.
No, but we got to put the Yuri Bezmenov interview on that too.
Oh yes, we do. Yep, that's one of them. So I call this the Red Pill playlist. It's on the Conspiracy Channel. I posted a link a while ago. You have Aaron Russo's Mad as Hell. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
China's silent takeover while America's elite slept on Valuetainment. Big fan of Patrick Bet-David and the Valuetainment channel. It's business, but he interviews like mafia people, con artists, and and CIA people. So and former generals. And this is a former general, I believe. Talking about this is actually the guy that broke the story about Hunter Biden in 2018. Robert Spalding, yeah.
The Shadowgate documentary with Millie Weaver was pretty good.
Yeah. You have So you have the what the fuck's going on here? Hold on. Okay, good. So you have the Mike Wallace interview with Rod Serling from 1959. Before Twilight Zone came out, Rod Serling talks about censorship and how you have to tell stories allegorically. It's a great 21 minutes. Highly recommend it. All of this is on the Red Pill playlist on Conspiracy or Conspiracy Channel. I have the interview with Russ Baker, Family of Secrets, where he goes chapter by chapter of the Family of Secrets book that he made, his magnum opus on the Bush family and their dealings, all the way back from Prescott Bush to George H.W. Bush. I have all of that loaded in there. And of course, these all go to the channels of the people that uploaded the videos. I have The Cynical Historian. He did a two-parter on Woodrow Wilson. And you can see Woodrow Wilson with Satan eyes and Satan horns and a Hitler mustache.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that should tell you a lot about his feelings there. The Alex Jones documentary, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove.
I'll be right back, Wes.
Sure, absolutely. So that's a great film to watch. Absolutely. He blew Bohemian Grove wide open with that documentary. That's what put Alex Jones on the map, is really Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove. And of course, you have the Bill Gates. I did it again. Damn it. You have the Bill Gates Innovating to Zero 2014 TED Talk, where he talks about basically that we need to get carbon emissions to zero. And he lays out an equation, and everything on that equation is either dependent on people or is people. And so one of those has to get close to zero. And if you have three things that are dependent on the population, and one of those things on that list is population, guess what's innovated to zero? Well, there you go. So that is my Red Pill playlist. I hope that you take a look at it. I'm going to paste it in the comments again. There you go. That's the Red Pill playlist. Let's see here. Vigilante Williamson says, first Matrix. Yep, absolutely. Soul Assassin says, we are speaking to Satan. Hello, Mr. Satan. I don't know why that guy sounds like Jordan Peterson. Vigilante Williamson says, all your world is an illusion. Just another red shirt. Yeah, pretty much. I would tell you, but it's a secret. Hail another monster. Welcome, my friend. Another monster says, sup, y'all. I can relax. I'm here now. Relaxation mode engaged, another monster. Thank you for being here. It's been far too long. Yes, so just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you, says another monster. Indeed. Yeah, the American general public sheep. That's who's getting worked by the conspiracy. Indeed. Yeah, people from third world countries, it turns out that when you're from a poor country, people, they talk to one another. And when people talk to one another more frequently and in person, you're a little bit better at detecting bullshit, it turns out. And you're not fooled as easily. Imagine that. Chat jumped on me here. Yes. Yep. This is live. Wookie says, I beg to differ, monster. I wouldn't be paranoid at all if everyone wasn't out to get me. It happens sometimes. You have some bad karma. You don't give a second thought to the shitty stuff that you've done to people, but that was their last encounter with you, so that's what they remember. Not fun. Vigilante Williamson says that humanity is a virus thing always stuck with me as well. There are times when I wonder if it's true. Yeah, I think... whose comedy routine was that? I don't know. Another monster says, if the vaccine was an actual vaccine, then nobody would care that I'm not getting it. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. I'm back. I had to hunt down a drink and use the boys' room.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with that. It was funny. I was telling this story on the other stream, Wes. I went and before that happened with Mom, like the day before, I had run up to the drugstore to grab her a couple of her prescriptions, and the guy that's the head pharmacist there, he's like, oh, we have extra doses of the vaccine. would you like to get the shot while you're here? I'm like, I'm in a rush. Let me get back to you.
Yeah.
That's what I said politely. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get the jab.
And that's not happening.
So Sacha asks, "Who's out to get you?" Everyone.
Yeah.
Wookie says Venezuelans are kind of disturbed by the state DC is in. They did the same thing with their capital after the coup election, right? Venezuela was a dry run for Biden's steal.
Well, you have to.
Well, I think that I personally think the 2016 Democratic primaries were the run for the dry run for Biden's steal.
I just another monster said, "I'm sorry, I can't take your vaccine right now. I have COVID." Yeah, maybe I should have said that.
If you've had it, if you've had it, there's no reason to get the vaccine.
Oh, well, you're not allowed to say that now, man, because herd immunity. You can't talk about that. Oops.
But the way you get herd immunity is by getting the immunity by having already had it and getting the antibodies, which is what the vaccine. Yeah. Whatever. Oh wait, wrong show.
Oh, that's all right. Did you hear about the fact that we have an actual vax lottery here?
What?
Yeah, we do.
You know where you're at?
Mm-hmm. The governor started what's called the Vax-A-Million lottery. And there was already a winner, some 22-year-old chick in Cincinnati won $1 million because, and I guess you could go on this website and register, and you just input your vaccine information and so on and so forth, and then if your name is picked, you win $1 million. And yeah. The state's doing that for the next, I believe, couple months.
Interesting. Soul Assassin says Cali has a vax lottery too. I haven't heard anything about it. I have heard, and this should tell you something. There's huge vaccine reluctance in Cali right now. So that should tell you something. I think for a while it was like 25% of the people that should be vaccinated, according to them, had been vaccinated.
Well, I want to give Moira Kitty a ton of credit because I've talked to her multiple occasions about the shot and about different medications, and she's always stuck to her guns. She said that show me the science. Show me the science. Show me what's actually in the stuff. And she's right, because when you get down to it, there has not been anything, including ingredient labels, whatever. There's nothing that actually shows the hard science behind all of this, and I don't trust like just word salad and just what public information officers spew, because they're not telling you anything of substance, and that's why I'm hesitant to get it. And not to mention, I don't know what side effects come with that, and I don't want to take the chance. I don't want to take the chance. I'm like that with normal medications, so I'm going to be vigilant with taking a vaccine. Now, I don't have anything necessarily against shots. I've gotten shots before in life for different things, but we're on a whole nother level, though, with stuff like this. So I'm not going to get something that I don't know about or that doesn't have an absolute specific purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I've already had it. I think I had it in 2019, allegedly when it wasn't here yet. So,
well, when we got into, when we had our discussion way back west, when we were talking about stuff like Operation Dark Winter and Event 201, things of that nature. What were the reasonings even behind those drills to begin with? Unless there was a bigger thing afoot to put feelers out there and do some blind testing.
I think you're right. Absolutely.
And
well, I even think that the swine flu earlier was a testing.
Could very well plausible.
Yeah, I think that the swine flu was a test of how, to see how far it traveled, give somebody a benign, less lethal version of it, see the way that it disperses so that they can be more effective before the real one gets released.
Radicalized Ryan, holy shit.
At work, we all have to be tested every 2 weeks. The vaccinated people don't have to be tested anymore. So now the unvaccinated are exposed and targeted eventually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's such crap. Man. I am not getting that jab. I think I've already had it. I mean, I suffered for like 3 weeks. Okay, not only do I think I already had it, I think I've already had it twice. So I thought that I had it in December of 2019, last week of November, first 2 weeks of December. It lasted 3 weeks. Nasty bug.
I want to put this question out in the air because I want to get everybody's take on it. Why is there so much cajoling and so much arm twisting, subtle arm twisting, but arm twisting nonetheless, to have this done? Because they're resorting to exclusionary tactics. Now, mind you, here, and again, I'm using Ohio as an example, but our mask mandate is lifted, except the caveat is you have to be vaccinated to not wear a mask. Unvaccinated must wear a mask at all times. So it went from an order to now a selective order. And supposedly in another 2 weeks, they're going to just, the COVID restrictions are going to go by anyway here. But it's just funny that, it's almost like they're creating a class divide with vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And you had that tweet from the Quartering that I referenced on the other stream where he said he was going to a concert in his local area or planning on it and was going to order tickets. And then it clearly said in the event details that, in order to attend, you must be vaccinated.
Yeah.
And this is getting crazy. The exclusionary shit is getting crazy. And I don't like the push toward the papers, please ideal, because that's where we're at right now. Because eventually it's going to be like, if you don't have your vaccine card, you're not going to be allowed in places, period.
It's the way it seems. And they're by the way, they're saying that HIPAA only protects medical institutions. And so, yeah.
Mhm.
And so therefore it's not HIPAA protected for you to, for them to ask for that information, which is kind of bullshit.
That's a good question, Darius. That's a very good question.
Interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. Soul Assassin says, I find it suspicious that Texas goes with no masks and they start shipping in immigrants that haven't been tested. Yep, they are. Yeah, Crowder did a really good, and I think Jones did a video on that, didn't they?
Yeah. There's a lot of shit that doesn't add up. So again, guys, it goes back to what I was saying. You know, ask the pertinent questions. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Ask where the science is. Ask to see things. You have every right to do that. It's a human right to ask where things come from.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what freedom's all about. We don't just, you know, just because somebody says they're an authority doesn't mean that we take what they say. You have to prove that what you're saying is true. And I get to evaluate your statements against information and even misinformation and disinformation.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to weigh that however I like. I mean, I should be able to. But, you know, of course, some platforms don't appreciate that. Which is why, you know, we do exclusive content on other platforms.
I really want to do a whole, like, just for fun, one of these times, Wes. I want to get together with you and do a whole analysis and breakdown of They Live. I want to watch it together with you and then do a whole analysis and breakdown and discussion.
Well, yeah, we should do that on Odyssey. You can do that on Odyssey.
You know, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
So yeah, just another red shirt says not true. HIPAA only permits disclosure to healthcare operations that are covered entities. Non-medical operations are never covered entities. Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see. Radicalized Ryan says, I'm in New York and these POS are still going with the mask stuff, although not as draconian. Us plebs still have to wear them for theater. The management, of course, are not wearing their masks. I knew it would end up like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's exactly the way that they're treating people, Ryan, with this whole separation of, you know, vaxxed or unvaxxed. You know, you've created that. And you're creating an unnatural gate for people to go through. And it's ridiculous because, you know, people that make the choice that, you know, that they, rightly so, their own personal choice, not to receive a drug they're unsure of. So you mean to tell me because I make that personal choice, I'm barred from certain places of business or certain establishments to get, you know, my basic needs, like to eat, obviously. And that is a scary, scary proposition.
Yeah.
Oh man, great stuff tonight, guys. I think this is a place to leave off, call it a night, and then you know, I'm sure there's plenty of time to pick up this discussion more. And White Run Guard, yeah, I'm sure you're a legitimate account, but no, I'm far from that. Thank you.
Wait, was he talking about you or me? I couldn't tell. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's probably the
whatever.
same
You know, it's we're our community's being. It's summertime and the kids are out of school and they're having fun. That's fine. All right. Well, everybody, this has been an amazing show. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we're going to let Wookie do what Wookie does for the remaining moments. If Wookie sees fit to exercise the power of the wrench or the power of the, the lashing tongue. So here, go ahead and plug your channel there, my friend.
Well, hey, folks, Supreme Heretic here. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, check it out. It's I do a variety of different things on there. It's not just talking about politics, current events, pop culture. I like to talk about gaming or do gaming streams or just do current event streams or, hang out with my friends. And I also do music video reactions. We also talk Battlestar Galactica, a variety of things on my channel. So make sure that you check it out, youtube.com/Supreme Heretic. There's a cool stream from earlier tonight. We hosted Thursday Night Throwdown, which is usually a Comics Division show on my channel in Comics Division's absence. So that went well. That was a good time. Good time was had by all. And then, you can catch me most times on Thursdays is when I do my most streaming. So make sure that you check that out and follow me on Twitter @Supreme Heretic. So, we'll talk soon, folks. And you can read me on Bounding Into Comics. So, boundingintocomics.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me, my friend. This has been long overdue. We've been needing to do one of these for a while.
Yeah.
And we will be doing another one very soon.
Got into a great discussion tonight, Wes, man. Awesome stuff.
For sure. Absolutely. This is great. We're going to exercise our freedom as long as we can. In YouTube, who knows how long that's going to be. I'm not optimistic, but we'll be here as long as we can. And in the meantime, we will see ya.